Dead Island gives you 4 characters. All 4 are immune to the virus that turned everyone else on Benoi into a zombie. The game never tells you why. It drops this detail and moves on like it means nothing. First time you play, you don't question it either. You're on a beach smashing zombies with a modded baseball bat. Immunity is the last thing on your mind. But I kept coming back to the backstories. Something started lining up. Every one of these 4 had their life come apart before the outbreak. They showed up to Benoi already carrying damage, and the way each one fights tells you what kind of damage they're carrying. That's a question worth sitting with. Why are these 4 people immune? The game won't answer it, but their combat systems, their backstories, and the specific ways they fall apart under pressure tell you something the cutscenes never do. So let's start with Logan, because Logan is the easiest one to read. He was an NFL quarterback. He had the career, the fame, and the public image. Then he got drunk, he crashed his car, and he killed someone. Career over. Reputation gone. He flew to Benoi to drink and disappear. That's where you'll find him all at the start of the game. When you play Logan, your entire combat style is throwing. Axes, machetes, knives. You hurl them across the room at enemies. If you're fighting up close with Logan, you're doing it wrong. The game rewards distance. You stand back, read the room, throw, reposition. You do this for hours without thinking about why, and the answer is sitting in his backstory the whole time. Logan keeps everything far away. The zombies, the guilt, the memory of the accident. His combat trains you to avoid closeness. Scan the room, throw, reposition. Every fight follows the same rhythm. That's denial turned into a gameplay loop. You're putting space between yourself and your problems every time you press the attack button, and most players never notice because the game never tells you to notice. Whether Techland designed this deliberately or stumbled into it, the pattern holds across every hour you spend with Logan. Purna is where the tone shifts completely. She was a detective. She found out a wealthy, politically protected man was hurting children. She knew the courts were going to let him walk, so she shot him, and the system she'd given her career to stripped her badge, destroyed her reputation, and blacklisted her for it. When the outbreak hits, Purna grabs a gun and starts clearing rooms. Her skill tree is built around firearms and crowd control. She's precise, efficient, and there's no panic in her kit. Here's the part worth sitting with. Did the apocalypse actually make Purna's life worse? Before Benoi, she lived in a world that protected a child abuser and punished the person who stopped him. Now she's on an island full of actual monsters and nobody is going to fire her for pulling the trigger. She has permission for the first time in years. From the player's perspective, her kit feels purposeful in a way that the other characters don't. There's no scrambling, there's no improvisation, but Purna fights like someone who's already been ready for this. That's anger. The quiet kind. The kind that sits for years until it finds somewhere else to go. And if you sit with the idea that the apocalypse gave Purna something back, it gets uncomfortable fast. But that discomfort says more about what the world did to her before the zombies than anything that happens during the game. Xian Mei is the one I keep going back and forth on. He had one hit song, Who Do You Voodoo? It was big for him about 15 minutes and then the whole world forgot about it. Xian Mei didn't forget. He's at the Royal Palms Resort because someone booked him for a nostalgia gig at a hotel that got him cheap. He's performing a song nobody remembers to an audience that isn't really there for him. If you think about that setup for more than a few seconds, it's kind of really heartbreaking. His playstyle is blunt force. He uses bats, pipes, and sledgehammers. Anything that's really blunt. He walks up into the middle of the fight, he takes the hit and swings harder. His skill tree rewards absorbing damage. You don't dodge with Xian Mei, you just tank it and keep going. That's bargaining. If I'm tough enough, if I keep showing up, if I keep taking the punishment and stay standing, then I still matter. His approach to Survivor mirrors his approach to a fading career. You just keep performing. And don't stop moving because stopping means sitting with the fact that nobody's watching anymore. There's a moment early on where he talks about himself like he's still a big deal. Nothing happening around him supports that. It would be funny if it were so transparent. He's been running this routine for years. The outbreak didn't change the performance, but it gave him a bigger room to do it in. And then there's Xian Mei, and she's the quietest of the four, which I think the game does deliberately. She was the undercover at the hotel. The Hong Kong police placed her as a receptionist to observe and report back. On paper, one person. Behind that cover, someone else entirely. The game implies this pattern goes further back than the assignment. Family pressure, her father's legacy, and years of performing a version of herself for other people. Her combat is blades, fast and precise, and high bleed damage. She's the quickest character in the game and also the most fragile. She has a big damage and a small health pool, which means if you make like one mistake or many mistakes, your player might fold. And if you play all of four characters back to back, you notice something. Logan telegraphs distance, Purna telegraphs control, and Xian Mei telegraphs endurance. Xian Mei doesn't telegraph anything. She gets in, cuts, gets out, and there's no announcement and no performance. She's further along than the other three. Whatever she went through, she's past the loud part of it. She's functioning inside what's left. The game makes her the most efficient killer of the four and never once asks you to think about why that is. Now here's where all the four of these threads connect. The virus infects almost everyone on Banoi. Tourists, hotel staff, locals. People living stable lives. People who had something intact and they turned. The four who didn't turn were already in pieces before the first infection. What if the virus needs something whole to latch onto and these four didn't have that anymore? Logan drank his life away after the accident. Purna had hers ripped out by the system. Xian Mei watched his fade over years of being forgotten. Xian Mei never had one to begin with. The game doesn't frame this as a reward. It says the people who survived already lost the thing that made them vulnerable. And it never stops to acknowledge this. It hands them a weapon, points them at the dead, and keeps going. You spend the whole entire game rescuing people, running errands for strangers, escorting survivors through zombie-packed streets, and the four people doing all that saving are the ones that the world already broke before anyone on the Banoi got infected. The game never pauses to ask whether they deserve better than that. Whether that reads as healing or function inside a different kind of damage, Dead Island drops that question in your lap and just walks away with it. And I think that's the most honest thing about it. So what do you think? Did Techland plan any of this, or I'm just pulling meaning out of a zombie game with a stamina bar and a weapon crafting menu? Drop in the comments. And if you're into these type of character breakdowns, please subscribe and I'll have more videos coming right at you. I got more videos coming. I know I haven't been posting for a while now, but been really busy, but I'm still active on this channel. So stay tuned and have a wonderful day. Peace out, y'all. See y'all in the next video. Major 2K is out.